Close your eyes and listen. The deep hum of turbines, the echo of metal meeting fire. Somewhere in northern Europe, beyond the silence of the sea, stands a place where dreams are not imagined, they are engineered. This is where Billionaires' floating palaces are born. But what happens when a single misaligned bolt can cost millions? Or when the wrong shade of paint can delay a launch for an entire year? Stay till the end, because what you're about to witness isn't just a shipyard, it's a temple of perfection. The title says inside the 500 million factory that builds Billionaires' Superyachts, and the thumbnail calls them $500 million floating palaces. But those words barely capture what truly happens behind these gates. This isn't luxury for luxury's sake, it's the intersection of power, precision, and human obsession. Each yacht built here is not a product, it's a statement, a symbol that the limits of craftsmanship can still be pushed beyond imagination. How is a single vessel costing more than a skyscraper brought to life from raw steel and dreams? That's the story we're about to enter, a journey through a world where time, money, and perfection collide, and only the flawless survive. Behind 200 acres of steel hangars and dry docks lies one of the most secretive ecosystems on Earth, a network of European shipyards working in near silence. Every design, every measurement, every project belongs to someone whose name you've probably heard, but will never be spoken aloud here. Inside these walls, hundreds of workers move like clockwork under blinding white light. Every motion counts. Every screw has a serial number. Every section of steel must align within a margin of a single millimeter. This is where $100 million is merely the entry ticket, and $500 million is where legends are built. It all begins with a dream. Sometimes, it's nothing more than a sketch on a napkin. Other times, it's a full digital render guarded behind encrypted servers. Naval architects transform that fantasy into hydrodynamic reality. Engineers simulate how 9,000 tons of metal will slice through open water. Vibration experts study how every panel will react to pressure, to wind, to silence, because the owner will expect to sleep without hearing the faintest echo of the sea. Beneath the art lies science, and beneath the beauty, engineering. The outer shell of a superyacht might shimmer like a sculpture, but inside, it's a labyrinth of pipes, sensors, and AI-driven systems. Everything from the lighting to temperature to navigation is synchronized through digital control. Onboard software calculates every wave impact, every turn, every degree of wind resistance. Because when you're spending $500 million, perfection isn't optional, it's a standard. Then comes the real transformation. The first sparks of construction begin. Raw steel is heated, bent, and molded into sections called blocks. Each block is as large as a small house. They're lifted, rotated, and welded together like pieces of a colossal 3D puzzle. The process can take months, not because they're slow, but because every single weld must be perfect. X-rays inspect microscopic cracks invisible to the human eye. Every seam, every curve is measured and remade until the hull becomes one continuous, flawless skin of metal. Once assembled, massive cranes, some capable of lifting over 900 tons in a single swing, lower the structure into the dry dock. It's like watching a cathedral descend into the sea. Engineers inspect every edge, walking the narrow paths like surgeons in an operating room. Floodlights shine across the hull, revealing a mirror of precision. By the time the base is complete, it's no longer just steel, it's the skeleton of a legacy that will outlive its maker. And then, the artisans arrive. These are not ordinary workers. They are craftsmen flown from Italy, Switzerland, and France. They build the world you'll never see in a commercial ship. Each one works with monastic focus, carving exotic woods, hand polishing marble, stitching leather panels so seamlessly that the entire interior feels like a single breath of perfection. A yacht like this becomes the purest reflection of its owner's soul. Some want minimalist purity, quiet Scandinavian simplicity. Others demand imperial gold, crystal staircases, and chandeliers that shimmer like constellations. Every inch of space is curated. There's a private cinema, a helipad, a spa, sometimes even a miniature hospital. Some have glass elevators connecting 6 private decks. Others have infinity pools that pour into the ocean. The paint itself becomes a form of engineering. It can take over 20 coats to achieve the mirror-like finish that bends. Sunlight-like liquid. Painters work in temperature-controlled chambers where a single dust particle could ruin the surface. The result? A reflection so smooth that the sky itself seems jealous. But make no mistake, these aren't just floating palaces. They're machines of innovation. Beneath the polished decks lies the heart of modern technology. Hybrid propulsion systems allow silent sailing electric motors that glide through water without vibration. Carbon fiber components reduce weight without compromising strength. Stabilizers adjust in real time to keep the vessel steady even in stormy seas. Some yachts even carry personal submarines, drone bays, or AI navigation systems capable of predicting weather shifts days ahead. The future of sea travel doesn't belong to commercial fleets. It belongs to these engineering marvels, where innovation begins long before it reaches the mainstream. Every yacht becomes a laboratory of progress, a testing ground for what human ingenuity can achieve when money is no longer a limit. And yet, amid all this steel, carbon, and technology, the soul of the yacht still belongs to its creators. To the man who spends weeks perfecting a curve so that sunlight will fall on it just right. To the welder who knows that one imperfect bead could echo through the ocean's rhythm. To the engineer who walks through the corridors at midnight, checking every dial by hand, just to make sure they don't do it for fame. Their names will never be engraved on the deck, but their fingerprints are forever sealed beneath the layers of paint and polish, traveling across oceans unseen. By the time a superyacht leaves this factory, it carries more than luxury. It carries thousands of human stories, of sweat, precision, and relentless pursuit of perfection. Each one represents a silent victory against the impossible. The sea is unforgiving. It tests everything: steel, design, balance, and pride. And yet, these ships rise to meet it not as mere vessels, but as floating testaments to human ambition. When the massive gates of the dry dock finally open, and the ocean embraces the hull for the first time, there's silence, no applause, no music, just the deep sound of water claiming its new creation. For those who built it, that sound means everything. It's the sound of months, sometimes years, of labor transformed into life. But this journey doesn't end here, because the true test of perfection is not in the making, it's in the sea itself. And in the next part, we'll follow this 500 million masterpiece as it awakens for the first time, tested against wind, water, and the weight of its own legacy. The sun rises over the North Sea, and the giant steel doors of the shipyard slide open. A faint mist rolls in from the water, as if the ocean itself has come to witness what's about to happen. After years of design, testing, and craftsmanship, the 500 million masterpiece stands ready not as a vessel, but as something alive. The workers gather in silence. There are no speeches, no champagne bottles crashing against the bow, just the distant hum of engines preparing for their first breath. The yacht slowly begins its descent into the water, and the world seems to hold still. The surface ripples as the ocean embraces its newest creation, a floating monument to human ambition. The launch is more than a ceremony, it's a test of faith. Every calculation, every measurement, every sleepless night now faces its reckoning. For months, engineers have simulated these moments using virtual models, but nothing compares to reality. The way the hull feels against the current, the way the stabilizers breathe against the tide, the way silence is replaced by motion. Inside the control room, dozens of screens light up. Pressure gauges, radar feeds, and AI diagnostics track every variable. The vessel's onboard systems hum to life, running self-checks faster than any human could. From now on, the ship's brain and integrated digital core will monitor everything: temperature, power, sound, fuel, even the heartbeat of the engines. But beneath all that technology, there's still something ancient, a primal awe that every builder feels when steel meets the sea. It's the same feeling that shipwrights felt centuries ago, watching wooden hulls drift for the first time. Only now, the scale is unimaginable. As the yacht begins its first trial voyage, small teams of specialists stand by on deck. They monitor vibration sensors, acoustic isolation, and engine calibration. Every sound is analyzed. Every ripple is studied. The ship must glide silently not just for comfort, but for prestige. At this level, luxury means invisibility. No noise, no tremor, no flaw. Days pass in open water. The yacht systems are tested under different sea conditions: calm, rough, and unpredictable. The hull flexes with perfect elasticity. The stabilizers correct balance within milliseconds. The engines, twin diesel-electric hybrids, operate with near silence, burning cleaner and faster than anything built before. Onboard AI keeps everything synchronized, from power distribution to humidity levels in the owner's private suite. By the 5th day, the engineers are smiling. The yacht performs beyond expectations. It's not just seaworthy, it's flawless. The trial reports are printed, signed, and archived. Another chapter of perfection completed. Then comes the transformation from ship to sanctuary. The exterior still glows with metallic precision, but inside, artists take over once more. Crates of custom furniture arrive. Each piece has been handcrafted to fit specific dimensions. Even the curvature of the walls has been considered. Lighting designers program every room to respond to mood and time of day. Some suites are tuned to mimic the sunrise of the owner's hometown. Others change hue based on the ocean outside. A fragrance specialist ensures the air carries a unique scent. Subtle, signature, untraceable. Every detail, from the leather stitching to the marble veining, is aligned to a single principle. The owner must never feel like they've left perfection behind. Weeks later, the owner arrives discreetly, without press or cameras. For them, it's not about showing off. It's about possession, about knowing that somewhere in the world, there exists something no one else has. They walk across the deck in silence, feeling the cool glass beneath their feet, the quiet hum of machinery deep below. It's not pride they feel, it's awe. As the yacht leaves the dock for its maiden journey, a small crew of designers and engineers remain on board. They watch from a distance as the vessel disappears into the horizon, its white hull blending into the clouds. For them, this is both an ending and a beginning. They know that within a few weeks, new blueprints will arrive. Another dream, another impossible request, another challenge that will take years to perfect. But this ship, this one will always be special, because every craftsman who touched it left a piece of themselves inside its walls. The welder's precision, the designer's patience, the painter's devotion. Together, they've built something that money alone could never buy. A floating work of art that carries human emotion beneath its metal skin. Out in the open ocean, the yacht moves like a whisper. The horizon reflects across its mirrored surface. The AI-controlled navigation adjusts automatically, tracing a perfect course through the waves. Inside, lights glow softly across polished surfaces, illuminating spaces designed to feel infinite. A dining room with a ceiling that mimics starlight. A private cinema that sounds like a symphony hall. A master suite larger than most apartments, wrapped entirely in silence. At night, when the sea is still, the vessel becomes something else entirely, not a ship, but a world of its own. It floats between time and technology, between human hands and artificial intelligence. Out here, surrounded by endless water, every detail becomes sacred. The journey of a superyacht is more than engineering, it's an act of belief. A belief that perfection can be built, measured, and mastered. And perhaps that's why the people who create these ships rarely talk about money. For them, the reward isn't in the number, it's in the moment when steel, art, and imagination come together to create something that feels alive. As dawn breaks, the sun reflects off the deck, casting gold across the waves. The owner stands at the bow, silent, watching the horizon stretch endlessly ahead. Behind them, 100,000 components hum in perfect harmony, systems built to last decades, guided by algorithms, powered by precision. The yacht glides forward, carving a path through the water like a signature across glass. For those who built it, It's more than just a machine, it's proof. Proof that perfection isn't found, it's made. Proof that when ambition meets craftsmanship, even the ocean must make way. And as the waves break gently against its hull, one truth remains. Luxury isn't about wealth, it's about mastery. The quiet mastery that can turn metal light and human will into something eternal. This is not just the story of a ship. It's the story of what happens when humans refuse to settle for good enough and decide instead to build beauty that moves. Because here, inside the world's most extraordinary factories, perfection isn't the goal, it's the beginning.